Conservative Chancellor Jeremy Hunt said this week that those who voted for Brexit may worry about Keir Starmer's Labour winning at the next election, given Mr Starmer's recent comments about his desire to stay closely aligned with the EU in several key areas. I asked Robert, in Wimborne, and Jennifer, in Oxford, what kind of relationship they each thought the UK should hope to have with the EU going forward. We're going to start with Robert, so here is what he had to say.
Well, we voted to get out of the EU, and that's what we wanted. We wanted to actually be able to take control of our own borders, and, that's not the only issue. There's loads of other issues, really, but the thing is, we voted to get out, and they should honour that, and he's going to lose a lot of votes, really, trying to turn it round, really. So I don't really see, he doesn't know what to come out with next, really. As a matter of fact, I can't understand the man, really. He doesn't even know what a woman is. So who's he been sleeping with for the last bloody 40 years or so?
Fair enough. Well, I suppose Mr Starmer's justification for keeping a lot of the regulations in areas like the food industry would be, he would say that any reduction and any scrapping of these regulations would perhaps reduce the safety and quality of products sold in Britain. Do you think there's any argument to say that we should stay aligned on issues of that nature?
Well, I mean, I'm in older years now, and I've grown up really on British food all my life, really. And there's nothing wrong with it, and there's lots of old people, and people are living longer now, so whatever food they're eating, it must be, I'm talking about local people and that. I don't see them running out and buying continental food everywhere and that. I think our food, there's nothing wrong with it. It's good, healthy food.
And so you don't think there's you think the regulations that the EU have in place are perhaps unnecessary when it comes to food, and that would be fine even without those regulations? Yes. Is that kind of your argument?
Yes, well, the thing is, they've always got to be, they haven't really forgiven us for voting out, really, so they keep coming up with all these crazy ideas, really, about what we do, really. It's got nothing to do with them, really. We should really be in control of our own food outlets and everything else. And not only that, the country exports a lot of stuff anyway. So I don't know what the beef is all about, really.
Absolutely. So another thing that's been discussed, although both parties have, I think, officially sort of ruled out the possibility, and that is of a second referendum or any attempt to sort of rejoin the EU more officially. How do you feel about this option being off the table?
We voted out, and we should honour that vote, really, and it's going to upset a lot of people if he tries to actually get it changed, really. As I say, I can't see him getting in anyway. He just changes the goalpost as he goes along, really.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you would be opposed, essentially, to any attempt to sort of rejoin?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I figured that. Definitely. Perfect. Well, thank you very much for your time.
And now finally, here's what Jennifer had to say.
Well, I do think the Storm is right on that. I do think we have discovered that being cut off from the EU completely has posed far more problems than solving them.
And so I suppose the Brexiteers' argument in that case would be to sort of say, well, to take advantage of Brexit and perhaps some of the trade deals away from the EU, we do need to diverge a little bit in terms of the regulations on things like food. Do you think there's any logic to that? Do you think there's an argument to say that not diverging would be not taking advantage of the opportunities?
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, yeah.
Okay, and so both parties have officially sort of ruled out a second referendum or anything of that nature. How do you feel about this option being off the table?
Oh gosh, because it's been such a nightmare. I mean, nothing has gone as planned. We didn't know what was planned, quite honestly. So, I mean, we threw ourselves at it. So, I'm just hopeless on this. I just can't see how we can resolve it by having yet another referendum with the disastrous situations that we've been dealing with. So I'm not very au fait with stuff at the moment.
No, don't worry at all. You're doing perfectly well. But just so to clarify, Ben, you think that maybe Brexit wasn't the greatest decision in the world, but
it was not.
But maybe rerunning
not.
it isn't also not.
It's not a good idea.
But do you oppose a rerun of that vote, or?
I honestly just think it would be disastrous. I do think we should manoeuvre now. I think perhaps Starmer's got a good idea on that.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time.